Salutations everyone, this is Razor here giving you a domination match on the map WMD, and I'm going to be rocking an old favorite of mine, the M16 with the ACOG sight. And it's a pretty underestimated gun if you ask me. The M16 is not a gun that you see as often as I think you would, it being, you know, the first assault rifle that you do get in the game, and is part of a default class as well. And I like slapping the ACOG on this puppy, especially for domination matches, because you know it allows you to be, you know, more precise. It's like it's the gun that requires the most precision, because you know there's no stopping power, so your one bursts are going to be few and far between. So you're usually going to have to put 2, 3, sometimes even more than that, you know, bursts into people before you get the kill. But the M16 is really unrivaled when it comes to long-range engagements when your opponent's not using a sniper rifle. If your opponent is using a sniper rifle and you are not that great at sniping and they're just keep picking you off, the M16 is your best antidote to that kind of play style. Same thing if they're taking you out, the M16 or a G11, or they just keep knocking you out time and time again, and you're only getting hit markers on them at best. M16 is really the way to go. It's not as great as just noob tubing someone across map, but it can get the job done. Rocking the hardline, sleight of hand, and hacker setup here, which is pretty typical for when I use an M16. Sometimes I'll put on blast shields, sometimes I put on tactical mass pro, but you know, I'm usually go with hardline, because with the M16 you're not going to be rushing a lot, because it's, you know, hard to get close quarter battles with being in favor of the M16, especially when you're engaging multiple opponents. So there's no really use for lightweight in this instance, and or flak jacket to counter the claymores. But if you're capturing positions like this, you're going to see lots of, you know, grenades coming your way. So that's why sometimes I'll be using blast shield when I'm putting on the M16, because it's a really good defensive weapon, probably the best defensive weapon in my opinion, for, you know, defending a flag in domination, or if you're trying to you know, wipe out a spawn so you can flip them and capture a point that you do want to get. See, these two guys should have got them both, but there's no way it can stop a grenade launcher without flak jacket. So that was unfortunate, but I'm going to try to do my best to recapture the A flag here, which is pretty easy with the M16 if you're trying to hold down a position, especially with the ACOG scope. It can give you that long line of sight, and it's really much easier to pinpoint someone's location if they're trying to head glitch you, or if they're in a window or something. M16 is the best way to go, because it's a 3-burst weapon, and you can sometimes get them in one pull of the trigger, usually 2 or more. It's a high damage weapon, so what it's going to do with those 3 bullets coming out at a time, they're going to be high damage bullets, and what that's going to create is a larger flinch against your opponent. So if they're trying to get you long range, or if they're camping up in a window or head glitching you from a dumpster or a barrel or something, the M16 is really beneficial in this instance, because of the high power of its round. It'll create more of a flinch, so your enemy will have a much more difficult time trying to stay on target and trying to pick you off. And if you have sleight of hand as my preferred second tier perk with the M16, but Hardened Pro is also a pretty decent way to go. Real awesome if you want to take out people camping up in windows and they're trying to take cover behind, you know, panels and metal doors and stuff. M16 with Harden is a pretty good choice, especially since you don't have to reload that often. And if you do get some heavy flinch on your M16, since it is not fully automatic, you're going to suffer at a greater severity than you would with a fully automatic weapon when it comes to staying on target with the flinch, because you're not continuously busting out, you know, bullets from your gun. And also with the added bullet penetration, it's really good for taking out campers, and I like using the M16. Like I said, as a defensive weapon, you can't really rush up, and get multiple enemies at a time from a short distance. You can do it easily, catching multiple people coming out of their spawn, or trying to rush and get a flag. The M16 is really unparalleled in this aspect. At least it is in my opinion. Some people might think, you know, like an M60 with an extended mags might be the way to go to defend something to your heart's content, but the M16, incredibly accurate. It induces a large flinch to your opponent, and it's high damage, and sometimes you can get those one burst kills. And like I said before, even if you do get shot, it's really easy to stay on target with the ACOG scope when it comes to being in long-range engagements. And I like running hardline because I find myself getting a lot of kills with this weapon and not really in that much of danger when it comes to claymores or Simtex or something, because they're going to have to close that gap in order for their explosives to get some real advantage on me. And you see, we were getting triple capped here, so I decided to do what I do best when it comes to being triple capped, and that's getting in a chopper gunner and turn that triple cap right back around on the enemy. And so I'm telling my teammates where they're spawning from. You know, grab B. There's no one spawning around there, and so they grab B, and we have A, and we're just keeping them spawn back at C, trying to close that gap there. I'm just in my chopper gunner, not very serious attempts at shooting me down. It's rather odd. I see myself getting shot down more aggressively with people that don't have Ghost Pro than people that do. And I don't know, maybe that's just the team players, or maybe they just like to prestige a lot, and you get a lot of points from shooting down air support. So that could be it. And see, we do turn the triple cap right back around on them. Now we have 3 flags, and we're closing that gap ever so slowly. But it's going to the score's going to be in our favor here pretty soon. I got this Blackbird in my pocket. Some people decide to hold on to the Blackbird till after they die so they can use it to get to another one, so they can get to their chopper gunner or higher kill streaks with much ease. And sometimes I'll do that, but usually I'll call in the Blackbird as soon as I get it, just to ensure that I get the higher kill streaks that I'm going for, because I'm so close. And Blackbird is pretty much guaranteed to get those 1, 2, or 3 kills that you need to get those higher kill streaks. But sometimes, that really annoying habit of getting like a double kill, and your Blackbird and the chopper gunner show up at the same time, and you think you're calling in the Blackbird, but you're really calling in the chopper gunner. And sometimes that'll happen. And as you can see, I got these guys back in their spawn, and protecting a corridor such as this, and preventing the enemy from getting out of their spawn is incredibly easy with the M16. And I know some people like the red dot on it, some people might like the reflex scope, but I like the ACOG because of the enhanced zoom. It gives me a much wider field of vision when it comes to aiming down sights for longer ranges of engagement, which you're going to be seeing on maps such as WMD or Jungle or Discovery. Those big maps with long range of sights. With Domination, those spawn points are going to be much further spread out, and they're going to be much more predictable, so you'll be able to anticipate the direction of which your enemy is coming from. And it doesn't matter if it's multiple enemies or not, because 1, 2, sometimes 3 bursts, take one guy down, and then the second or third guy can be pretty easy for you. And leave the comments below what you think is really an unsung hero gun-wise. What is a really underrated gun you think in Black Ops that you like using? Because there's so many guns that I think are totally underused and underestimated, and the M16 is definitely one of them, especially with the ACOG sight, which is really the main way I use the M16. I either run the ACOG or the suppressor attachment, because it usually 2 bursts anyway. The suppressor really doesn't hinder it that much in the range aspect, and it makes up for it with staying off of the radar, which can be more beneficial in smaller maps that you still want to utilize the power of the M16 with. And I picked up a FAMAS here, and you see did not have a whole ton of luck with it, but I got my M16 back. Blackbird's still going pretty strong, and I'm just taking out these second chance kids in their spawn. We're trying to hold this triple cap, Got a guy on B, clean him up real good, and they were able to grab A because they were dying too fast. So they spawned in a tight-knit group rather quickly. And with a map like WMD, it's kind of hard to hold a triple cap for a longer period of time. It's much more easier on a smaller map, such as like radiation or firing range. And as you can see, the M16 is great for defending flags. I do get a ton of defense here, and you can also cap as long as you are aware of where the enemy is most likely coming from. So you're able to capture flags with a much greater ease than you would with, say, I don't know, a commando or an AK or something that after a flinch or a couple shots you can be really off your guard rather quickly. And I like the M16 when it comes to domination quite a lot. So go ahead and let me know what gun you think is totally underused in this game. My final score here is 60-6 with 3 captures and 5 defends. Go ahead and leave a comment of what you would like to see from me next. You want to see a knifing only gameplay or a stakeout gameplay or something totally crazy before Modern Warfare 3 comes out. Go ahead and let me know. I appreciate the feedback, guys, and I will see you later.